Hey everyone, this is Coach Tall Guy. I hope you're doing well today. If you came across my channel and you're a volunteer coach or you're a parent coach and you want to learn more about the sport, how to in particular deal with young players, then this is the spot for you. Feel free to subscribe. Thanks for checking me out. So we're dealing with 4, 5, 6, and 7-year-olds. What are we doing in practice? Well, more often than not, we're teaching dribbling, okay? The kids at this age need to be touching the ball as much as possible. So how do we coach dribbling to young players? I'm gonna take you through that today. So the first thing, as a young player, they need to be exploring different parts of the foot to move the soccer ball or to dribble the soccer ball. So what parts of the foot are we looking at? We're looking at the inside of the foot, the outside of the foot, and the bottom of the foot to dribble the soccer ball, okay? Now there's a way to explain these to kids that I'll get to in a little bit, but those are the surface areas we want kids exploring and learning how to move the ball with. Now, when it comes to dribbling too, in a soccer game, you never just dribble at one speed. So it's really important that kids learn how to move the ball, how to dribble it at different speeds, slow, medium, and fast. And sometimes there's different parts of the foot that are more effective at dribbling at different speeds, okay? So we want kids exploring how to dribble at different speeds. The last thing we want to make sure that kids are learning is how to dribble in space and how to change directions, whether that's little 45-degree angled cuts, whether that's a full 180 turn. We want those kids to explore how to change directions with the soccer ball. So now let's talk about how do we explain these things, in particular to young players. So one of the things I love about young players is that they have this built-in energy, most of them, all right? They also have this great imagination that I can tap into to get them to move and to explore, which I love about little kids. So use that to help your session out. So when we talk about dribbling, okay, and we want to coach them on the inside of the foot and outside of the foot, some of the things that I'll do as a coach is say, hey everybody, I want us to move the soccer ball with the inside of our foot. All right, does anybody know where the inside of their foot is? If you can, try to touch it, and maybe they do or don't. And then I'll say, well, does everybody know where their big toe is? And more often than not, the players know where their big toe is. Then I have the players put their foot on the ball and I say, hey, you know what we gotta do? We gotta release the dribbling genie today. We gotta make sure that dribbling genie out. But we can only use our big toe right now. We can only use your big toe. So everybody, I want you to imagine that your toe is a golden lamp and we're gonna release the dribbling genie. Can you rub your big toe? Can you rub that inside of the foot? Rub it real fast. We gotta release that genie, okay? By me tapping into their imagination of the genie and a lamp and then having them rub that particular area of their foot, then I know that they've got it and that they're gonna start dribbling with that foot. And they're excited to use that part of the foot because I've made it like a genie, all right? I've tapped into their imagination. It's something exciting and it's fun for the kids. Same thing I might use on the outside of the foot, but with the outside of the foot, one of the things I really wanna make sure with players is that they understand how to turn their foot. Very often with young players, when we say the outside of their foot, they're gonna wanna dribble sideways, because they really want to use the outside of their foot. And we're not necessarily using the outside of our foot, but we're turning our foot and we're using that little toe, that baby toe, okay? And it's this motion when we dribble the soccer ball. So I'll say things like, all right, everybody, I want you to use your little toe, your baby toe. But the first thing we got to do is squish the bug. And I show them how to squish the bug because I want them to pivot. I want them to turn their foot in so they can use that little toe. And then I might use something like, all right, everybody, we know babies, sometimes they cry. Can you make your little soccer ball baby cry by using the outside of your toe? Go touch, 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 wham, wham, wham. They start to move the ball with the outside of their foot. Now, if I want to teach players how to use the bottom of their foot, I don't ever with kids say, hey, we're going to use the sole of our foot. Those young players, they don't really understand that. So they do understand bottom, but I have them do this, have them roll the ball. Who can roll that ball, rock the ball back and forth with the bottom of their foot? And then they start to do this motion here. And the reason I want them doing this motion is because when we're using the bottom of our foot, all right, we're dragging the ball. The ball's rolling, all right? So we want to make sure that they understand that we want that ball to roll, okay? So I have them use this to start, and then I want to see if they can roll the ball move the ball back and forth, all right? So when dribbling, we use the inside of our foot, the outside of our foot, and the sole of our foot. Now let's talk about having them dribble at different speeds. So earlier I talked about really tapping into that child's imagination. Well, most of these kids want to move, right? They just want to get going anyways. But we want them to be able to dribble at different speeds and dribble at different speeds effectively. So one of the things I'll say to a player is like, hey, who can dribble like a little mouse? And then you guys tell me what a mouse is. Is a mouse big? Oh no, Coach Tall Guy, a mouse isn't big. Do they have big feet? No, no, no. So their feet are little, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Has anybody seen a mouse? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Would you say they're slow, fast, quick with their little feet? Oh, they're fast and they're quick. So then I go to the players, well, let me see you dribble like a mouse. Are we gonna have big touches or small little touches? Are we a big giant or are we a mouse? Well, we're a mouse. Well, now show me how you think a mouse would dribble. And then they start to dribble that ball quickly, quickly, quickly. All right, they're moving it around. And again, me tapping into that imagination versus me just saying, all right, everybody just dribble quick and fast. It's made the activity more fun. I've made it kid-like. They're able to relate to it and they understand that a mouse is quick, and then they start to use those little touches. So vice versa, if I was to say, hey, I want them to dribble a little bit bigger. I want them to push that ball out into space so that they can run onto it, that they can sprint with it. I might tap into something like, okay, I'm gonna show you how an elephant will dribble a ball, or how the Incredible Hulk will dribble a soccer ball. And now I'm gonna show them, because I want them to understand that my touch is gonna be bigger. But what I don't want, and it's important that you show them, what I don't want is I don't want them kicking the ball. Do you understand what I mean by that? We don't want them kicking the ball, because now when they dribble at speed, we still need them to be under control. So it's very important that if you want them to dribble at speed, all right, you want them to have a bigger touch, that you're showing them that you're not kicking the ball. Because we really want to make sure that you're pushing the ball into space, not kicking the ball and then running after it, okay? So you gotta be aware of that when you're teaching kids, because more often than not, they're just gonna wanna kick it and then run after it. So I like to use that word push. I like to use something that they understand is a big, strong, because we wanna get the ball out. Or I can say things like, hey, on our cheetah dribble, we gotta be fast, right? But we gotta, and again, I show them how to be under control, but a cheetah is something that's really fast as well. And they're gonna push that ball out in front of them, and they're gonna dribble with speed. The big thing too that you have to remember though is when you're teaching dribbling, particularly when they're going fast and you're having them do that cheetah dribble, is you gotta encourage them to keep their head up. I cannot tell you the number of kids I've seen just kind of collide because their heads are down. And it's a learning experience, to be brutally honest. If they collide, then hopefully they're going to learn to get their head up. But you always want to encourage those players to start picking their head up. And with the young players, it's going to be very, very natural for them to want to like look and stare at the ball the whole time, because it's hard. It's super hard. Every now and then have them, hey, take a peek, take a peek. Oh, where are your eyes? Are you looking around? Are you looking around? You might throw up some numbers or something like that they have to look at you when they're dribbling, but encourage them to get that head up. So the last thing when we're coaching dribbling, particularly to those young ages, is when they're dribbling in space, can we somehow create these activities where they're changing direction with the soccer ball? So some of the things I like to use is, hey, can everybody show me like what they think is a zigzag dribble? Can you dribble one way and then dribble another way and maybe zig and zag? And you'll notice like right now on this video, I'm doing things like this with my hands, okay? Zig and zag. And I might ask the kids to go, hey, we're gonna zig. All right, everybody zag and do this with me. And just by using my hands and doing these type of motions, it gets the child to understand that they're not dribbling just in a straight line. Or I might say, hey, has anybody ever seen like a lightning bolt? Is it just straight or does it zig and zag? Does it go different directions? Oh yeah, it goes different directions. And again, I demonstrate the zig and zag, and then I encourage them when they're dribbling in space. All right, show me your best zigzag. All right, I might use something like the word change. When I yell out the word change, you gotta go some other direction. And I yell out the word change, hopefully they go a different direction. All right, so again, can you tap into these things when you're coaching young players? So to sum it all up, if you're coaching these young age groups, the most important technique they have in the game of soccer is learning how to dribble the soccer ball. So they, one, need to learn the different surface areas, inside, outside, sole of the foot. Two, they have to learn to dribble at different speeds. And three, they have to be able to dribble in different directions. If you can focus on those things throughout your season as you're coaching the art of dribbling, then you're doing a great job. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I hope you like this video. Again, please feel free to subscribe. I got a lot of other videos out here, and I'm really hope that you find value in this, that you get out there and feel confident working with those young players. This is Coach Tall Guy out.